Hello and good evening and welcome to the 11 o'clock news update. I'm Sarah Glubb. In our first item, the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, called today for swift global counter-terrorism measures. The Saudi monarch's statement came during his reception to several diplomats and ambassadors submitting their credentials. King Abdullah said that the threat of terrorist groups was not only affecting the Middle East, but surely will stretch to reach Europe and the United States if not addressed. He called on the diplomats to convey the urgency to combat terrorism to the leaders of their respective countries, noting that such counterterrorism was globally responsible, adding that terrorism would soon spread to Europe and the US unless it is quickly dealt with right here in the Middle East region. Iraq has launched a major operation to liberate a besieged town in northern Iraq, as U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry called for a global coalition to combat an insurgent militant group known as IS. Iraqi military officials said that Kurdish forces have joined the army to try to free the town of Amerli, 2 months after residents in the town were under siege by IS fighters. The move came after the United Nations called for urgent action last week to stop a massacre in the town. Meanwhile, police officials said a suicide bomber has detonated an explosives-rigged vehicle at a checkpoint south of the capital, Baghdad, killing at least 11 people and wounding at least 25 others.
From the Sahara Golf Club, this is Sarah Glubb. From the Radisson Blu, I'm Gimba Jaburi.
From the Sahel Club, this is Salim Kandiri.
From the Scientific Center, this is Hiba Abdurrahman.
I'm Batriya Saleh, reporting for the Week in 30 minutes.
Welcome back. A UN official said that nearly 3 dozen UN peacekeepers from the Philippines who were trapped by Syrian rebel fighters in the Golan Heights have been successfully rescued amid a firefight. The UN mission has nearly 12,000 troops from 6 countries, including the Netherlands and the Philippines, to monitor the Kinetra crossing between the Israeli-occupied area and the Syrian-held area of the Golan Heights. Meanwhile, the Syrian military said that the government army advanced in Damascus neighborhoods of Jobar, killing a huge number of rebels and regaining control of a large number of buildings as well. The latest developments came as the UN announced that the number of Syrian refugees to have registered in neighboring countries topped 3 million, while another 6.5 million are displaced within Syria itself. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani called Western sanctions today an invasion after Washington imposed penalties on 25 businesses, banks, and individuals. Rouhani said at a news conference in Tehran that Iran was still committed to continuing nuclear talks with the P5+1 countries, including the US, for a final agreement on its nuclear program. Talks aimed at curbing Iran's nuclear program in exchange for ending sanctions began in February, but Iran and the 6 countries involved failed to reach a deal by the July 20th deadline and have agreed to extend negotiations until the 24th of November. European Commission President José Manuel Barroso said that Russia's actions in eastern Ukraine could lead to a point of no return if a political solution is not found. Barroso said at a meeting in Brussels that the European Union was prepared to toughen sanctions against Russia. However, he added that the bloc also wanted a political deal to end the confrontation. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko warned that the conflict with Moscow threatens peace and stability for Europe as a whole. Russia denied its forces are backing pro-Russian rebels who have been gaining ground on Ukrainian forces and said that it is sending an aid convoy to the Donetsk region. The World Alliance of Religions Peace Summit, or WARP 2014, is preparing to host the Heavenly Culture, World Peace and Restoration of Light in the Republic of Korea, with the attendance and participation of thousands of leaders from all over the world. This is the first summit of its kind, and it will bring together both secular and religious leaders from all faiths nations, and cultures, and is aimed at highlighting the fact that in order to achieve world peace, people's awareness for peace is the most crucial step. The summit, to be held from the 17th to the 19th of September 2014, acknowledges that a world of peace cannot be achieved by one single person, but through comprehensive global desire. Hence, the State of Kuwait and its people will undoubtedly have a large part to play in this peace movement due to its philanthropic and advocate nature for all things peace and humanitarian, in order to change the world into a better place. Well, with that, we conclude our news bulletin for this evening. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night. I'm Sarah Glubb.